There comes a moment, and if it hasn't happened to you yet, it may already be beginning, when you realize something has quietly changed about the way you see the world. Maybe it was driving home one evening and noticing that the oncoming headlights felt sharper, more glaring than they used to. Maybe it was sitting in your favorite chair with a book you've read a dozen times and finding yourself holding it a little further away, squinting at words that should be perfectly clear. Maybe it was looking across the room at someone you love and realizing that their face, which you have known by heart for decades, was just slightly, almost imperceptibly, softer around the edges than it should be. And in that moment, something quiet and frightening passes through you. Is this just how it goes now? Most people answer that question the same way. They accept it. They get stronger reading glasses. They stop driving after dark. They adjust. They accommodate. They quietly grieve something they aren't sure they're allowed to name because nobody told them there was anything they could do about it. But here is what those people were never told, and what I want you to hear before anything else in this video. Your eyes are living tissue. They have nutritional needs that become more specific, more urgent, and more consequential as you get older. And research suggests that what you consistently eat, particularly in the hours before sleep, when your body is doing its most important repair work, can make a meaningful difference in the health of the cells, the vessels, and the delicate structures that determine what you see when you open your eyes each morning. This is not about miracles. I will not tell you that food reverses cataracts or cures glaucoma or repairs a damaged retina overnight. That would not be honest, and you deserve honesty. What I will tell you is that specific fruits contain specific compounds that eye specialists and nutrition researchers have studied for decades. Compounds that accumulate in the retina, filter damaging light, reduce oxidative stress in the eye, and support the microscopic blood vessels that feed your vision. And most people over 60 are not getting nearly enough of them. Today, I'm going to walk you through 7 of the most evidence-supported fruits for eye health in older adults, ranked from beneficial to the one that researchers keep coming back to as exceptional. And I'm going to explain not just what they do, but why nighttime, specifically the hour or two before bed, may be the most important window in which to consume them. But first, I want you to meet someone. Ruth was 74 years old, and she had been a night owl her entire adult life. She loved the quiet of late evenings, a cup of decaf tea, the evening news, maybe a short drive to pick up her granddaughter from a school event or a practice that ran late. Then the night driving started changing. It wasn't dramatic at first, just a sense that the road felt less certain after dark, that the lines were harder to read, that she needed to slow down a little more than she used to at intersections. She mentioned it to her optometrist at her annual appointment and was told her prescription had changed slightly and that some difficulty with night vision was normal with age. She bought new glasses. The night driving didn't really improve. What changed, slowly, was her willingness to go out after dark at all. She started declining invitations to evening events. She let her daughter drive when they went anywhere after 6. She stopped picking up her granddaughter. To everyone around her, these looked like small, practical adjustments. To Ruth, they felt like the beginning of losing something she wasn't ready to lose. Not just the driving, the independence, the sense of being the grandmother who showed up, who was capable, who was present, who didn't need to be accommodated. Ruth's story is not about a diagnosis. It's about something quieter and in some ways harder, the slow erosion of confidence in her own senses and what that does to a person who has spent a lifetime being capable and free. I'm going to come back to Ruth, but first, let's talk about what is actually happening inside aging eyes, because understanding this makes everything else in this video make sense. The human retina contains 2 types of photoreceptors, rods and cones. Rods handle low light vision, night vision, the ability to see in dim or shifting light. Cones handle color and fine detail. Both decline with age. But what researchers have found particularly significant is the role that two specific compounds play in protecting these cells from the damage that accumulates over decades. Those compounds are lutein and zeaxanthin. They concentrate in the macula, the central part of the retina responsible for the sharpest, most detailed vision. And they function essentially as a natural internal filter, absorbing damaging blue light and neutralizing the oxidative stress that would otherwise accelerate the deterioration of retinal cells. Studies have found that people with higher concentrations of lutein and zeaxanthin in the macula show slower rates of age-related macular changes than those with lower concentrations. The body does not produce lutein or zeaxanthin on its own. Every molecule of them that sits in your retina right now came from something you ate. Vitamin C is equally significant. The eye has among the highest concentrations of vitamin C of any tissue in the body. Research suggests this is not accidental. Vitamin C plays a direct role in protecting the lens of the eye from oxidative damage, and studies have found associations between higher vitamin C intake and reduced risk of lens clouding over time. And then there is hydration, overlooked almost universally in conversations about eye health. The tear film that coats the eye's surface is roughly 98% water. When the body is chronically low in fluid, as many older adults are, the tear film becomes thinner and less stable. The result is dry, irritated, fatigued eyes that struggle to focus clearly. Symptoms that many people attribute to aging when they are actually, in significant part, attributable to not drinking enough water. Now, here is why nighttime matters specifically. While you sleep, your body runs processes it cannot run efficiently during the day. Cellular repair, protein synthesis, the clearance of metabolic waste from tissues, including the eye. The nutrients available in your bloodstream during those nighttime hours are the raw materials your body uses for this work. Consuming nutrient-dense foods in the hours before sleep means those compounds are circulating and available precisely when your body is most actively using them. This is not a dramatic secret. It is basic nutritional timing, but it is something almost nobody thinks about in relation to eye health. With that context, let's begin. Fruit number 7 is the orange. This may be the most familiar fruit on this list, and familiarity has caused most people to underestimate it. A single medium orange contains a substantial amount of vitamin C. Research suggests it can provide the majority of the daily amount that eye specialists consider beneficial for lens protection. It also contains hesperidin, a flavonoid that studies have found may support the microscopic capillaries that supply blood to the retina. The capillaries feeding the retina are among the smallest blood vessels in the human body. When those vessels are healthy, the retina receives consistent oxygen and nutrients. When they are compromised, by inflammation, by oxidative damage, by poor circulation, retinal cells begin to suffer in ways that show up gradually in vision. The orange's contribution is not headline-worthy, but it is reliable, accessible, widely available, and consumed in combination with sleep provides a gentle and consistent delivery of compounds the eye genuinely needs. Common mistake? Drinking orange juice instead. Juice removes most of the fiber and concentrates the sugar. The whole fruit, eaten in the hour before bed, is what delivers the full benefit. Fruit number 6 is the kiwi. Kiwi tends to be overlooked in conversations about eye health, which is a significant oversight. Gram for gram, kiwi contains more vitamin C than an orange. But what makes it particularly interesting to researchers is its lutein content. Relatively modest compared to fruits higher on this list, but meaningful, combined with a high antioxidant density that specifically targets oxidative stress in sensitive tissue. Studies have also found that kiwi consumption is associated with improved sleep quality in older adults, relevant here because sleep quality directly affects the overnight repair processes we discussed earlier. If the goal is nighttime nutrition that supports eye health, a fruit that also improves the quality of the sleep during which that repair occurs is worth paying attention to. Kiwi is also one of the most hydrating fruits available, with a water content above 80%, making it useful for supporting the tear film and overall ocular surface health. 2 kiwis in the hour before bed is a simple habit with a surprising amount of science behind it. Fruit number 5 is watermelon. Watermelon's most discussed nutrient is lycopene, a powerful antioxidant in the carotenoid family that gives the flesh its characteristic red color. But here's what surprised researchers when they began studying lycopene specifically in relation to eye health. Lycopene accumulates in the lens and in the retinal tissue, where it appears to provide protection against exactly the oxidative damage implicated in age-related changes. Watermelon is also 92% water, making it one of the most hydrating foods available, particularly valuable for older adults whose tear film and general hydration are already under pressure. The practical consideration is seasonal availability and portion size. A cup to a cup and a half of fresh watermelon in the evening is enough to deliver meaningful lycopene and significant hydration without the high sugar intake that comes from eating it in large amounts. Most people ignore this fruit after summer ends. Frozen watermelon or high-quality watermelon available year-round in many grocery stores preserves most of the meaningful nutritional content. Fruit number 4 is blackcurrants, and this is where things become particularly interesting. Blackcurrants are not a fruit most Americans reach for automatically, and that is a genuine nutritional loss. They contain among the highest concentrations of anthocyanins of any fruit studied, and anthocyanins are the compounds that researchers keep returning to when studying the specific mechanism of low light and night vision. Studies conducted in Europe and Japan, where blackcurrant consumption is more common, have found associations between regular blackcurrant intake and improvements in the ability of the eye to adapt to darkness and recover from glare, precisely the functions that Ruth was losing when she stopped feeling safe driving at night. The mechanism appears to involve anthocyanins' role in supporting rhodopsin regeneration. Rhodopsin is the pigment in the rod cells responsible for low light vision. It depletes when exposed to light and needs to regenerate in darkness. Research suggests that anthocyanin-rich foods may support this regeneration process. Blackcurrant jam, blackcurrant juice without added sugar, and frozen blackcurrants, available in many grocery stores, are practical ways to incorporate this fruit regularly. A small serving in the evening, when rhodopsin regeneration is most active during sleep, is particularly well-timed. Fruit number 3 is dragon fruit, and most people never connect this visually striking fruit to eye health at all. Dragon fruit, particularly the red-fleshed variety, contains lycopene, comparable to watermelon, significant vitamin C, and a type of carotenoid called beta-cyanin that has antioxidant properties, being studied for their potential role in cellular protection. It is also remarkably high in water content and contains prebiotic fiber that supports gut health, which matters for eye health more than most people realize, because emerging research suggests that gut microbiome health influences systemic inflammation, and chronic low-grade inflammation is increasingly implicated in age-related eye conditions. Dragon fruit has a mild, slightly sweet flavor and is increasingly available in American grocery stores, often in the produce section or in frozen packages. The red-fleshed variety contains the most lycopene. The white-fleshed variety is more common and still provides meaningful vitamin C and hydration. This is not a fruit most people over 60 grew up eating, but the evidence supporting it for eye health is stronger than its obscurity would suggest. Before we continue to the top 2, I want to tell you about someone else. James was 69 years old, and reading had been his anchor for as long as he could remember. The Bible, specifically, not just as faith, but as a daily ritual. Every morning with his coffee, every evening before bed. Passages he had read so many times he nearly knew them by heart, but still wanted to see the words on the page, to follow the lines with his eyes the way he always had. When the words started blurring, not dramatically, just softly at the edges, requiring more effort, more light, more time, James felt something he had never expected to feel about his eyesight. He felt afraid. Not of going blind, nothing so acute, just afraid of losing this particular thing, this morning ritual, this evening quiet, the words on the page that had been his constant companion through 69 years of an ordinary and, he thought, extraordinary life. He mentioned it to his doctor, who confirmed that some changes were normal for his age and updated his glasses prescription. James appreciated the thoroughness, but he left the appointment carrying the same quiet fear he'd brought in, because nobody had said anything about what he could actually do to support his eyes going forward, not just correct for what had already changed, but protect what remained. His wife found an article about nutrition and eye health. She started buying different fruits. She started putting a small bowl of blueberries on the counter every evening. She didn't make a production of it. She just put them there, next to his evening cup of decaf, without comment. James noticed they helped him feel like he was doing something active, instead of just waiting for more to change. That feeling, that there is something you can do, is what this video is really about. Fruit number 2 is blueberries. If you have heard anything about eye health and nutrition, you have probably heard about blueberries. The research here is substantial and consistent enough that it would be difficult to overstate the fruit's significance, though I will be careful to represent it accurately rather than dramatically. Blueberries contain exceptionally high concentrations of anthocyanins, the same family of compounds found in blackcurrants, but in a form that is widely available, affordable, well-studied, and that many American older adults can incorporate easily. The anthocyanins in blueberries have been studied for their role in retinal protection, their support of ocular blood flow, their reduction of oxidative stress in the macula, and their potential contribution to low-light visual function. Studies have also found that the antioxidants in blueberries cross the blood-brain barrier, relevant because the optic nerve is neurological tissue, and the health of the visual system extends beyond the eye itself into the brain's processing of visual information. A half cup to a full cup of blueberries in the evening, fresh or frozen, both retain nutritional value, is a simple and well-supported habit for adults over 60. Frozen blueberries are often nutritionally equivalent or superior to fresh ones that have been stored for several days, because they are frozen at peak ripeness and nutrient density. The research supporting blueberries for eye health is not preliminary or speculative. It is substantial, replicated, and consistent. This fruit belongs in the regular diet of virtually every adult over 60 who cares about their vision. And now, fruit number 1. Most people assume blueberries would hold this position, but the fruit that researchers keep returning to, the one with the most complete nutritional profile specifically relevant to aging eyes, the one that combines multiple critical compounds in meaningful concentrations, is papaya. Papaya contains more zeaxanthin than almost any other commonly available fruit. Not lutein, zeaxanthin specifically, the compound that concentrates in the very center of the macula, where the finest detail vision is processed. Evidence indicates that zeaxanthin accumulation in the central macula is among the most significant nutritional factors in protecting the sharpest, most critical portion of vision in older adults. But papaya doesn't stop there. It also contains significant beta-carotene, which the body converts to vitamin A, essential for the production of rhodopsin, the same low-light visual pigment we discussed in relation to blackcurrants. And it contains high concentrations of vitamin C, lycopene, and an enzyme called papain that research suggests has anti-inflammatory properties that may benefit the delicate tissue of the eye. The combination, zeaxanthin, beta-carotene, vitamin C, lycopene, and anti-inflammatory compounds in a single fruit makes papaya uniquely comprehensive in its support for aging eye health. Many eye specialists note that the nutrient bioavailability in papaya is particularly high, meaning the body absorbs and uses a greater percentage of what is there compared to some other sources. This matters because what determines nutritional benefit is not just what you eat, but what your body can actually extract and use. A cup of ripe papaya in the evening, fresh with a squeeze of lime if you prefer, is one of the simplest, most evidence-supported additions an adult over 60 can make to support their vision. It is increasingly available in American grocery stores and is not expensive. The ripe, orange-fleshed variety contains the highest concentrations of the relevant compounds. Now I want to tell you what happened to Ruth. Ruth's daughter, who had been watching her mother decline small pieces of independence one evening at a time, started researching nutrition and eye health. She didn't promise dramatic results. She just started bringing different fruits when she visited. Papaya, blueberries, kiwi. She left them in Ruth's refrigerator without making it into something heavy. Ruth ate them because she liked them, and because her daughter brought them, and because doing something felt better than doing nothing. 6 months later, Ruth mentioned to her daughter that she had driven to pick up her granddaughter from practice the previous Thursday evening. Her daughter didn't say anything at first. She just reached over and held her mother's hand. Ruth is not a medical case study. Her experience is not a clinical trial result. The changes in her diet were not the only variable in her life during those months. But she made consistent changes. She maintained them, and something shifted. Enough that she felt safer. Enough that she got back in the car after dark. Enough that she showed up again. Showing up again is the whole point. Here's what I want to leave you with. Your eyes have been working for you every single day of your life. Through every face they've shown you, every landscape, every page of every book, every child's first step, and every sunset, and every ordinary Tuesday morning that turned out to be something you remember. They are asking for something now. Not dramatic intervention, not miracle solutions, just specific, consistent nourishment, the kind that supports the living tissue, the delicate cells, the tiny vessels that make sight possible. Papaya, blueberries, black currants, dragon fruit, watermelon, kiwi, oranges. Not all of them every night forever, just more of them, more consistently, with the understanding that what you give your body in the hours before sleep is the raw material it uses to do its most important work. Before I go, I want to ask you something. If your eyesight were clearer tomorrow morning, just a little clearer, a little sharper, a little more like it used to be, what is the first thing you would want to see? Your grandchildren's faces across a dinner table? The words in a book you've been meaning to finish? Your garden in the early morning light? The face of the person who has been beside you for 40 years, seen clearly, the way you saw them when everything was new? Those things are worth a bowl of fruit before bed. They are worth the small, consistent effort of choosing differently, not out of fear, but out of love for the life you still have ahead of you and the eyes that are going to help you live it. You still have hope. You still have time. And your body is still listening to what you give it. Start tonight.